Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is a request from Tony, a paid request. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting stuff, doesn't have to be a review, it could be pretty much anything. Feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, Tony wanted my thoughts on Shang-Chi and the first look. I know there was a trailer that came out. And I want to read his whole thing so that I don't miss anything. He says, "Can you tell me your thoughts on Shang-Chi's first look? What do you think about the coexistence of his 10 rings and the Infinity Stones at the same time?" His guess is the 10 rings are like the Infinity Stones, but their power is not infinity-like, controlling galaxies and stuff, but rather just on Earth, which would make him extremely powerful by the things all the rings can do here on Earth. If he's immortal and ancient, where was he during the Avenger films? Why did he not intervene? Those are really my questions as a fan. You don't have to answer them. I can. No problem. You just say whatever you want. Did you think the trailer looked amazing like I did, or was it bland type material you expected from Marvel and you're not interested? Let me know your thoughts if you can, please. Thanks. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Now, Shang-Chi, I did not know, I still don't know much of anything on the character. From what I understand, I could absolutely be wrong. This is a character that was mainly around the 70s, maybe the early to mid 80s. I think they kind of stopped. From what I understand, one of the main villains was someone named Fu Manchu, and because that's been labeled a racist stereotype, let's not use anymore, and because it was featured a lot in the older comics, he kind of fell by the wayside. And he just didn't pop up much. So it was one of those things when I heard this was being made, I'm like, what the hell is this? Who the hell is Shang-Chi? I mean, why not Namor? Like, why not Donnie Yen as Namor? Oh, we got Aquaman. So what? I mean, you're doing Black Widow, Wonder Woman, like, do Namor. Like, okay, let's take he's a character in the comics. That'd be more interesting to me than Shang-Chi. Get Donnie Yen or something. But anyway, before I get to the trailer, let me answer his questions. What do you think about the coexistence of the Ten Rings and the Infinity Stones at the same time? Does a very powerful, immortal ancient. What do you think he's been during all the Avengers films? That is a question that is understandable. And that's kind of one of the issues when you go more and more forward with the series of films, is that if you try to play into the fact of, oh, well, this happened before Iron Man 1. If they do that, there's going to be a lot of questions that then they have to work around, like Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel took place in the 90s. Oh, this is the most powerful Avenger. Where the hell was she during all this stuff going on? You know, like when Earth was ready to die during the first Avengers film. Why would Nick Fury not, I don't know, contact her? During the first Avengers film, when the whole alien race is fucking up the city, why would Nick Fury not contact Captain Marvel? You think, like, what other time would you contact other than this? You know what I mean? But, I mean, there's always going to be those questions, and it's because they didn't think this way. They didn't think that far off. They didn't think of it. They thought a little bit. But did you think when they made Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk and Captain America that they fucking thought about Captain Marvel or Shang-Chi or Doctor Strange? Doctor Strange, I know they did a reference, but then it's like, okay, well, if Doctor Strange is a thing, why isn't he doing something? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? If he's so powerful, and that's always going to be the question now. You have so many powerful people. Where are they? How come they don't show up? Why don't this? And I guess with a comic book that question always pops up as well. But I guess in a comic book, because you're just reading the pages, you're able to just kind of more easily forget about that. Because a lot of times they're separate stories, and yeah, they'll reference something, but a lot of times they're by themselves. With a movie, now that you have this whole universe that they're propping up so specifically, they, who knows if they'll even mention that connection of where were you when, Thanos was around. Does that be a question? If you're so damn powerful and these 10 rings are like Infinity Stones of Earth, like where were you? But also, does he get his powers right now, which is after all this Infinity War stuff? See, again, I don't know much about the story. I don't know much about the characters, so I'm sure these are all questions that would be better answered knowing the full course of the story they take. But they could very well just ignore it and go, don't think about it. I would not be surprised. Why didn't he intervene? Either they're going to ignore the topic, or, oh, it took place, like he got his powers now, after all that's happened. That's also the thing, like, when does he get all this stuff? Does he get it by the end of the first movie? And does it take place in current time? That means he didn't have it back then. That's why he could not intervene, because he didn't have it. If he did, that's even more fucked up. I mean, I just can't tell you for sure until I know one day someone's going to request that movie, so I just know it's coming. And to be perfectly honest, I did not like the trailer. That's why I never talked about it. If you think it looks amazing, I'm glad, Tony. I thought it looked bland is a good word for it. It looked so generic and forgettable. Shang-Chi as a character. There's not one thing in that trailer that showed that Shang-Chi will be any type of a unique personality character, instead of just, oh, take a little bit of Black Panther, take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that. Yes, it has that same humor in Marvel that's getting played out, is getting old, and none of it was funny. The effects, it kind of all blends in with these Marvel films now. Nothing was awe-inspiring. The fight scenes were poor. Were poor. People go, oh, these fight scenes are amazing. There's a lot and a lot and a lot of fight scenes and action movies and martial arts films and kung fu movies. I'm looking at some over there that I could introduce you to. And go, if you think these fight scenes are great, I can show you stuff, shit that'll turn you crazy. I'll show you stuff that'll blow your mind to the back wall of the theater and out your ass. Let me show you some Jackie Chan films like The Legend of Drunken Master. And let me show you Jet Li films like Fist of Legend. Let me show you films from 10 years ago like The Raid Redemption. Let me show you independent films like Broken Fist, also known as Broken Path. Drive with Martha Costos from 1997, a year before Rush Hour. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, Jet Li's Kiss of the Dragon has more crazy fight scenes than anything I saw in the trailer, which is hampered by CGI additions, and I don't know anything about this director. Nothing about this film spoke to me. The story didn't sound interesting. The thing with the 10 rings, whatever. Why do you even said it reminds you of the Infinity Stones, so it just seems like been there, done that. I don't know why this character getting his own movie. Of the plentiful amount of characters, I know someone's going to say because the guy's Asian and they want an Asian movie. Is that the only reason? That sounds mean, but I'm asking a legitimate question. Is that the only reason? Is this really a popular character? Because I never fucking heard it. Of course, you say the same thing for Guardians of the Galaxy, and that came out, was good, and it was very popular. So, hey, just because it's not a known character doesn't mean the movie can't work. But I would ask you, what about that trailer was amazing? That's, again, a legitimate question. What about that trailer is amazing? Because I didn't see it. It just seems like your typical, like stuff you've seen, whether it be an Ant-Man, Ant-Man the Wasp, like pick a Marvel film. It seems like an assembly line. And I think that's sadly what Marvel has become. Marvel has become a safe assembly line. Cookie cutter. Cookie cutter assembly line movies. And they're just, to me, not special anymore. What is special about the next Marvel film? I don't see it. A new Blade? I don't give a shit about new Blade. I like the old Blade in Blade 2. Doctor Strange 2, I like the first Doctor Strange. So if there is a Marvel movie I'm curious about, it's that. And then Sam Raimi's directing it. Okay. I mean, I like Doctor Strange, and take the character I liked. I like Benedict Cumberbatch's performance as Doctor Strange, and Sam Raimi doing it. I'd be curious. That's the one film I'd be curious about. But, I mean, if they ever do a Captain Marvel 2, I'm supposed to be curious about that. Eternals? Don't give a shit about Eternals. Black Panther 2? Sorry, not interested. Because it's black? Because I'm not interested. I say it because there's some persons like, oh, you don't like the film because it's black? I don't like it because it sucks. I'll watch Blade and Blade 2. In my opinion, I think Black Panther sucks. In my opinion, Blade and Blade 2 are better movies. Don't give a fuck who stars in it. I also did not like Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. And a lot of white people were in them too. So, don't give a fuck about whose color, race, creed. I give a fuck about the movie. If it happens to star an Asian, or a white guy, or a redneck, or an inbred, or a black guy, I don't give a fuck. I just care if the movie's good, and that's subjective. And as for Shang-Chi, I have seen... What is so great about the movie? Look-wise. And if people want to throw some political stuff, well, it'll help represent the Asian market. You know what film was a lot better than that and no one did shit for? And is it anywhere over there? Where the hell? Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you the movie. My favorite film of that year. Film I fucking loved. Where was the love for this movie? Oscars, award circuits, pundits. Where's the love for this movie in John Cho? Which I guarantee, very different movies, but I guarantee I'm gonna like this film a lot fucking more than Shang-Chi. That's not against Tony, that's against, some of these political guys always make everything political. Which, to those people, we care about entertainment, first and foremost. As for Shang-Chi, to Tony, the most interesting thing about this film is the past. I was looking up info on this film, and there was an interview. a former president and CEO of Marvel Productions, Margaret Loesch. She revealed that Stan Lee, back in the early 90s, wanted Brandon Lee to star in a Shang-Chi movie. Brandon Lee. Stan did believe in the character. He used that as an example of the comic that could transition to the movie and TV world. Stan had great hope for Brandon Lee. He thought Brandon would be a future star. Stan Lee had a meeting with Bruce Lee's widow, Linda Lee, and her son Brandon to discuss possible comic characters that Lee could play. They talked about the kinds of comics that Stan had done, and he mentioned that comic, Master of Kung Fu Shang-Chi. Stan had great belief that those movies and TV shows based on those types of characters could be very popular. I can't remember what happened. I think maybe we felt out the networks and they weren't interested because of the violence. So I guess for TV, but that's how I recall that property because I had not been familiar with it until then. Meaning, like, back then she didn't know much about Shang-Chi. I don't blame her. I didn't know anything about it either. Yeah, Brandon... Hey, if you had Brandon Lee back in the day, I'd be more curious about it. This guy, I don't know who this guy is. His acting did not impress me. His martial arts did not impress me. I mean, I'm sorry. I've seen Jeff Speakman's The Perfect Weapon and Deadly Outbreak. I've seen Jeff Wincott. I've seen Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Tony Jaa, Donnie Yen, Flashpoint. I mean, I've seen so many other films of the Asian persuasion that are more impressive than this cookie cutter stuff. I just sincerely asked, what is it about this that looks amazing? What is it about the action scenes that's just glorified CG? And that can work. That can work. But it's more like the choreography. Everything just looks, for a Kung Fu film, the Master of Kung Fu looks poor. Or generic. Or cookie cutter. Or boring. And the editing. Maybe just the trailer, but the editing doesn't look that impressive either. Again, maybe just the trailer. But yeah, I didn't talk about Shang-Chi because nothing about it seemed worth a shit. To be honest. That's just my opinion. If you disagree, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. But, hey, if you look forward to this guy, that's cool. He looks bland and boring. Just my opinion. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.